In this video, I'm covering the 7 mistakes that I see buyer's agents make all of the time. So these are the 7 things to avoid and instead the 7 things to do. This is what works for me in my business. If you have any contrary opinions that your broker is telling you to do, always check with your broker first. But this is what's been working for me. Starting it off with number 1, stop manually scheduling appointments. And what I mean by this is you get a buyer that reaches out to you. Say they email you, they call you, they text you, and you don't know who they are. And they're like, hey, I'd love to view this house. I see that you're a real estate agent. I saw you on TikTok, or in my case, I saw you on YouTube. Your next step is not to drop everything of what you're doing to go service this stranger, believe it or not. The same way that you would not just be calling an attorney and expecting the attorney themselves to answer the phone as opposed to the paralegal or the office manager, whoever mans the front desk. There's no way that you'd be able to just call up any attorney's office and say, hey, I have a problem. Can you help me for free, unpaid, without me doing any sort of consultation or initial call? Think of yourself as a business owner. You make your own rules. Of course, major caveat if your broker allows that and the MLS and of course the regulations, but you run a business. You are not there to service every single incoming call or inquiry or text and drop everything of what you're doing to go see this property because this one person really liked it. And even though you don't know they're pre-approved, you just want to go show them a home. Everything has to have a process. The way I do it in my business, I have channels for buyers and sellers. And what I tell them exactly what to do in my YouTube videos. I tell them, don't email me. I say, don't call me. I say, text me if you want, but the only way that you will guarantee a spot on my calendar is to book a call with my Calendly link. So this is what you should be doing instead of manually going back and forth and saying, hey, does Tuesday work for you to set up a call to go over the buyer consultation, let you know about buyer agency? No, Tuesday doesn't work. Instead, I'm free at Wednesday or I'm free right now. Well, I'm actually not free right now. All of that is such a big waste of time. There is automated services that can do that for you. Instead, what Calendly is it's a website. It costs $150 or something for the year. It's worth it. So instead, when you receive those phone calls, if you still answer phone calls, I'll get to that later, or if you're fielding the emails or the texts that are coming through from buyers, instead you can say, here is the link to my Calendly. Schedule a call when you and all the buyer parties can be there, fill out the questions, and I'll see you on the Zoom call. 1, this helps save gas because how many times have you driven around only to be stood up or find an unqualified buyer or somebody that was really just a nosy Nancy and wasn't actually even serious about buying a house? So save your time. Use Calendly. Now, of course, I understand that things are different if you are paying for leads. If you have the faucet turned on and you're paying for Zillow leads or realtor leads, pretty much anything where you are chasing business and you have a complete stranger that doesn't know you, like you, or trust you, and you don't even know if they're ready, willing, or able to buy, any single time you get a call, yeah, that lead is probably worth at least $200 per lead. So that is a position that I want you to get out of as fast as possible. That is not a position that I think you should always be investing in. If you are brand new and you have extra money to light on fire, sure, invest in Zillow leads, but make sure that you have an end date in mind to when you're going to turn that off. I really think that paying for buyer leads is not a long-term strategy. So make sure that you have an end date in mind. I give everyone in my downline the exact questions that I have for my Calendly. And I ask a lot of questions. There are 2 different thoughts on this. One is just to make it as easy as possible to get the appointment scheduled. Mine is the opposite. I'm trying to create as much friction as I can because I know that once you jump through those hoops and answer all 10 questions, Calendly maxes out at 10 questions. It's really not a lot. But if I see that you answer all of those 10 questions and you actually show up on time, you don't stand me up, then I know that you want to work with me. Now, this, of course, is different from trying to persuade Zillow leads and strangers to work with you. Instead, I do YouTube because I would rather have the leads come to me and book a call on my calendar versus me chase any business. So that way they book a call in my Calendly. I see that they have booked for, tomorrow or a couple of days from now. I usually never have it same day. And that way it's on me. I am able to proactively do some research instead of just fielding questions saying, oh yeah, where's the house? In Vail, Arizona? Okay, great. Yeah, I can be there in 35 minutes. How's that? Okay, great. See you there. We'll cover agency there. No, there is none of that. I see the types of homes that they're looking for. I can put them on a drip before I even meet them over Zoom. So that way I know and they know exactly how much time we're going to have during that initial consultation. We'll see if it's even a good fit. And if you choose to work with me, and if I choose to work with you, then at that point, I'm gonna cover agency so that you know exactly what to expect from me and exactly what I can expect of you. I expect you to get pre-approved before we view any homes. Otherwise, no seller is gonna take you seriously. I expect that you are always talking to your spouse or any other buying parties. Otherwise, I'm not gonna show just one person a house because I have been there before and I've been burned where we're about to place an offer on a house and spouse goes, what the heck? I don't like this house. What? You would think that spouses talk to each other, but hello, they actually don't. So you want to make sure that you're in a group chat with everyone. Anyway, there's a lot of preparation. I talk about this one-on-one with the agents that join me. The too long didn't read version is use Calendly, please. It'll save you so much time. Mistake number 6 that I see real estate agents make all of the time, and it blows my mind, is they just show up to the house. What? Like, can you imagine if you are a seller and you have your house on the market and you're with your family, you have 100 pets running around, or even if you don't have anything, you get a knock on the door and it's a buyer's agent and the buyer saying, hey, we're here to view the house. What in the fuck? This still happens. Real estate agents do not read. So avoid doing this and instead do this, which is simply just read the fucking MLS notes. Like, it is not hard. You should have the app on your phone. And if it says provide a 1-hour courtesy call, do that. If it says they need 24 hours in advance, hello, then accept the 24 hours in advance. If there is one way to absolutely guarantee that you completely ruin all chances of getting your buyer's offer accepted, is to just show up at the house and say, oh yeah, we're here to view the house, or not follow the instructions that are listed in the MLS. If there are no instructions, that kind of makes sense. Either way, reach out to the listing agent or whoever they have as a POC to field those questions, but never just show up. Mistake number 5 that buyer's agents do is they accept every single client. Stop doing that. You cannot service every single client that comes to you. And I'm not talking about volume. I'm talking about personality. I'm talking about, is that actually in your wheelhouse that you specialize in, that you know what the hell you're doing? And I'm talking about, do you like working with them? You should never work with a client that when they call you, you get a sinking feeling in your gut. You're like, oh my God, I don't want to answer this call. When agents are accepting every single client that falls into their lap, which we know that doesn't happen, that really just means that their pipeline is not built up enough yet. If you are putting all of your eggs into 2 baskets that you have under contract and one falls out and you're like mad, the only person to be mad at is yourself because you didn't prospect enough, because you only have 2 under contract. If you have something under contract and it falls out, you should be fine. You should just say, okay, next, what can I learn from this? Are the buyers still looking to buy? Do they want to place an offer on another property? Or is this the end of their road right now? But either way, I'm good because I have enough in the pipeline to where I'm not devastated. I'm not crying. I'm not getting emotional if something falls out of contract. It's going to happen if it hasn't happened to you yet. So instead of making this mistake, do this, which is have standards. Have standards and also prospect every fucking day. The more you prospect, the more you fill the top of the funnel leads. The more you can then filter and say, I want to work with you. I want to work with you. I don't want to work with you. We may not be a good fit. I don't want to work with you. The more you can say no to the people that you know that you would not have a good transaction with, the more time that opens up on your calendar to completely go above and beyond on the service with the clients that you like working, and that opens up even more time to do more prospecting because it's all about volume. How many people can you get in front of? How many of those people are ready, willing, and able to buy and know, like, and trust you? So therefore, how many people are you gonna have fun doing this? Because if you're not having fun in this business, you're not gonna last. Like, I feel bad saying that, but I'd rather tell you this now so that way you don't waste time, effort, money, energy, sleep on a business that you're not gonna like doing. I've been in the position before where I was working in the military and I didn't like it. I should have gotten out sooner. So have standards as far as what kind of client you want to service. They should check off your boxes. And you should also have deal breakers, just like the way you're telling your clients, you know, what are your must-haves? What are your wants, but you don't need it? And what are your deal breakers on a property? You should have the same thing for clients. What are your must-haves in a client? What are your wants, but isn't necessary? And what are your deal breakers? My deal breakers are if they cannot answer a yes or no question, if they do not book a call on my Calendly, or if they don't get pre-approved or ghost, I'm not chasing. At that point, I can tell something in my real estate formula, which is know, like, and trust, ready, willing, and able. If one of those is not there, I'm not going to push it. There are other buyers that I would rather be working with and spend my time on a lovely transaction. This is your business. You either want this and are 100% committed, or you're not. And if you're not, someone else is going to take your clients. So any excuse that you have is just a story that you're telling yourself to stay stuck and to stay broke. So instead, think, what sacrifices do I need to make today in order to make the income that I want to make, to hit the conversation goal that I want to hit, so I don't have to work with assholes? Mistake number 4 that real estate agents make is they let their team leader berate them. If you are on a team and you are paying a 50-50 split to a team leader that either helps you with leads, I hope that they do at a 50-50 split, or really is just there but doesn't provide you too much support, why are you letting them treat you like shit? Instead, leave that toxic brokerage. Why are you spending your precious time and effort and money and mental bandwidth in staying on a team that you don't feel good going to every single day, that you don't feel good asking that team leader for help, that maybe that team leader has favorites and you're not one of them? I hear this time and time again because I meet with agents almost every single day. And people are like, yeah, my team leader isn't really there. They don't provide me leads. I don't feel their support, yet I'm too scared to leave. And all that is because of a numbers game. You don't trust yourself to build your own pipeline because it got used to being fed. And this is how I have helped 5 real estate agents at this time make $120,000 their first year when working with us. They were not promised or fed leads because we don't promise leads. And because of that, if you join us at 5 Pillars Community with EXP, you're not even on a team. You join as an individual agent. You get all of our resources for free. We benefit because we get revenue share, so we are financially incentivized to see your business succeed. Therefore, we meet with you on a group call, a one-on-one coaching call. We give you all the trainings, the buyer checklist front to end, the seller checklist front to end, because we believe that you should be a listing agent as well if you want to. The referral checklist, you will be given my 6-figure first year formula, as well as my real estate Bible. You'll be put in all the WhatsApp chats, but we are a different type of community. We do not babysit. We do not handhold. We give you all the resources. And just like in life, it's up to you to take it, use it, take advantage of it, and make money. That's how Karina was able to close 21 deals her first year and 10x her income once she switched brokerages to join us. That's how Erin Baylor was able to close 18 transactions her first year with us. And that's how Tori Borges, as a brand new agent out of Pensacola, Florida, was able to close 21 transactions. We give you the checklist and you just run with it. So it's a win-win for those that are 100% committed to their business. It's a win-win for full-time real estate agents that don't want to drive anywhere to work, or are able to work from home, which is what I'm doing now. And if you want more information, you can either apply directly with the link below, or you can schedule a one-on-one call with me with the other link below in the description. But overall, life is too short to not have the perspective that you should not be miserable every day. You should not be putting up with a team leader that berates you, with being a part of a team where you feel uncomfortable, or you feel like the black sheep, you feel like an outcast. Be a part of a community where they're teaching you to invest, where they smoke and joke, where they wear t-shirts and they don't expect you to wear anything fancy. Virtually surround yourself around people that are winning, people that you can learn from, and people that are willing to help you. Mistake number 3 that buyer's agents make are they try to do it all. What? Like what? The same reason that you would not get your photography license or certificate, whatever it is, in order to take photos of a listing that you have, you should not be doing everything in your business. You should not be learning HTML to code your website. You should not be doing all of the paperwork because there are TCs that can free up your time, so that way you spend your time on a higher and better use, which is always prospecting or servicing the clients. And over time, as you grow and you scale, you shouldn't be the one showing every single house to every single buyer. As you get more leads, it's gonna be impossible to be in multiple places at once. I make about $453 per hour when working with buyer clients. And yes, I am maniacal when it comes to knowing exactly how many hours I'm spending with each type of client. So I break it down. I literally tally up all the hours that I spend with each single buyer client, seller client, referral client. And I did this actually as a test to prove that I could make more as a buyer's agent than as a listing agent, because at the time I really preferred working with buyers. I really had that system down. And I shared that exact system with everyone that names me as a sponsor or someone below me in my downline at EXP. And what I got from that study was I actually proved it to be true. You know, I could make more money as a buyer's agent than as a listing agent. But if you are not maniacal when it comes to tracking numbers and data like I am in my business, then I would say keep it as simple as possible. Assume that your time is worth $100 an hour. Think about all of the different tasks that you plan on doing today or that you already did today. How many of those tasks are actually valued at less than $100 an hour? Everything that you check off, like literally make a note of what you did and make it either a check or an X. A check is, was this actually worth $100 an hour or more? And an X is no, anything that falls below that. You know, I actually could have paid someone else to do my laundry. I could have paid somebody else to cook for me. I could have paid somebody else to drive me. Maybe you're not at that point yet, but maybe yours is, I could have paid someone else to do the paperwork and go back and forth. And because somebody forgot to initial this here and somebody forgot to date this there, that is a transaction coordinator. I could have paid somebody else to open up the door at this property because I was already servicing and doing something else at this house. I could have paid a virtual assistant to be my executive assistant and read through my emails and decipher what is important for me and what's not. What has to be done now and what can be done later. I could have paid a virtual assistant to help me edit my videos on, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, social media, whatever, instead of me trying to figure out how to use CapCut. So instead of making this mistake of trying to do it all and wear every single hat as a CEO of your business, instead use Show-A-Me. You can use Show-A-Me in case you've never heard of it. Maybe it's in your market, look it up, ask your broker, ask your team leader, whatever. But Show-A-Me is a great way to get people to open up the doors for you, for your buyer clients, so that way you can free up your time and you can spend more time prospecting. Prospecting is everything. You can also hire assistants to help you edit your videos, help you with your tasks around the house, such as cleaning, cooking, your transaction coordinator. Think of everything that you do not like doing, and if it is less than $100 an hour or whatever you value your time at, hire it out today. You can ask ChatGPT to create a job description for you. First, before you do that, instead of getting a generic answer, say, hey, I'm a real estate agent in this city. These are my pain points. This is what I want to hire out. Can you help me build a job description to find the perfect person for me? The number 2 mistake that buyer's agents make is going to make so many older agents upset. I know this is gonna end up pissing some people off. This is give feedback. Do not give feedback as a buyer's agent. There has been an increase in lawsuits against buyer's agents because of what they put in the agent feedback. When you think about this, why would you give feedback? First of all, if the listing agent doesn't know what's wrong with it, then they're doing a poor job. Why should you volunteer your opinion to help the listing agent to then help the seller? That's not your client. Whether you give positive or negative feedback, it can hurt your buyer. So I suggest never giving feedback. And this is a change of the times. A lot of real estate agents that worked 20 years ago and that are still working now, they get so mad when they hear this. Maybe back then it was actually worth something. Now it's not. We're only becoming a more litigious society. There have been buyer's agents that have been sued by the buyer at the closing table because they realized that they could have gotten a better deal had the buyer not told the buyer's agent their actual opinion. Hey, the house is priced actually too high. It smells like dog shit. I think there's mold here. If your buyer has a negative comment about the house, but say there's no other property on the market that fits their needs, so they end up making an offer on that house, how do you think that seller is gonna feel? At that point, it's a game of telephone because your buyer is telling you, you are being asked by the listing agent to provide feedback. What do you think of the price of the house? What do you think of the overall condition? Any other notes that I can use against you during negotiations? And you're like, yeah, actually, here are my notes that come from the what should be confidential between me and my buyer. My buyer thinks that the price is too high. And as you know, in your MLS or like the showing instructions, typically it's just a radio button. Do you think it's priced too high, in the middle, or too low? Why? Why even give them anything? So yeah, my buyer actually thinks it's priced a little bit too high. And in my additional comments, just say you don't even leave any additional comments, just that price is too high is enough to work against you in negotiations. Because then the listing agent is going to tell their seller, hey, this buyer thinks that you priced the property too high, and now they're making an offer. What do you want to do? The seller's going to be like, okay, well, fuck them. If they're not going to cherish my house as much as I do, then let's make this a tough negotiation. And that just doesn't help anyone. That starts a transaction off on a very, very wrong foot. And say you were going to give great feedback. Say you're going to say, yeah, I think the house is actually priced under what it should be. At that point, the seller's going to say, oh, you think the house is worth more? Okay, then we're going to counter back at more. I do not see any positives when it comes to buyer's agents giving feedback to listing agents. If the listing agent doesn't have the conversation with the seller, and if they're trying to use third-party random opinions to tell the seller, hey, everyone thinks that the price is too high, if they need to rely on that in order to have that conversation with their sellers to reduce the price, that's on them. That's not on you as a buyer's agent. I'm dual licensed in Arizona and Minnesota. And when I got my license in Minnesota, there's an instructor, old school instructor, that was just outraged. People tell a lot of stories during these real estate schools, as you know, and we get off track a lot. It's more storytelling than it is actual factual information, whatever. So this guy is telling the story about how he is a listing agent. One time, the buyer's agent saw a house that he had listed and never provided feedback. And he said, that was just so unprofessional. So you know what I did? I called him at 9 p.m. every single night for 3 days in a row. And the buyer's agent said, why are you calling me late at night? This is unprofessional. And I said, well, if you're not gonna be professional and give me feedback, I'm gonna call you at 9 p.m. Folks, this is how real estate agents are. They're petty, they're emotional, and they do not do any service to their clients when they do this. What good comes out of any of that? But as you know, or if you're brand new, welcome to the world of petty real estate, where this happens all of the time. Older agents try to bully younger agents. Older agents will say, oh, well, I've been in the business for 20 years, and even though I've done one transaction every single year for the last 20 years, and I'm just still gonna treat you as if you're brand new. Don't let yourself be bullied. You do not need to give feedback. Again, talk to your broker, because maybe your team leader, your broker has other rules that will always trump what I'm saying in these videos from a random stranger on YouTube. But it was crazy. But that's only part one of the story. Part two of that story was he said 2 years later, that buyer's agent tried to view another house of his, a different listing, because it's 2 years later. And that listing agent denied that buyer's agent, saying, no, you never gave me feedback on house number 1 2 years ago, so I'm not gonna let you show this house now. If that isn't the biggest unethical thing I've ever heard in my life, how does that help your current seller? Why are you bringing old baggage into your current seller that has nothing to do with that? That buyer's agent could have had a client that was ready to purchase and make an offer, and that listing agent shot them down because of emotional and petty beef between two grown-ass men. Like, what? And again, this was somebody that was teaching at a real estate school to new agents that are like, okay, now that's what professionalism means. Professionalism means that I have to give feedback whenever somebody demands it of me. Otherwise, they're gonna call me at 9 p.m. at night during time with my family. Wild. So instead, zip it. Avoid a lawsuit. The number one mistake that buyer's agents make, do not simply just email over the offer. Instead, there is a whole process that you should be doing. And again, if you want more of this, this is what I talk about in my community at 5 Pillars at EXP every single day. So if you want one-on-one access with me, with Shelby, with Ruben Garcia, people that all make Icon, all make over $200,000 a year every single year, join us. There are 2 options. First one is apply with the link below directly. The next step is going to be, I'm gonna see you in my email, having joined the community, and I'm going to reach out to you. Or step 2 is if you don't have enough information yet, then book the discovery call with the other link below in the description. So what to do instead of just simply emailing over an offer is, first, you make sure that the lender of your client is able to fund on that, that your buyers are pre-approved and actually approved for that property, especially if it's a condo, especially if you're dealing with VA loans. Talk to the lender. Tell them, hey, we're gonna view this property. We're probably gonna submit an offer on this property. So can you be available on the day that we plan on placing the offer, so that way you can call the listing agent and give the listing agent the feel good that your buyers are good to go. That's a bare minimum. Like if you do not have a lender that's willing to do this, switch lenders. If you need a lender in Minnesota, Arizona, or Wisconsin, hit me up. Number 2 is you should be telling your transaction coordinator. Chances are you may be viewing that property with the buyer on a weekend. Does your TC work at that time? So let them know beforehand, hey, on Saturday, we plan on seeing these 5 homes. They may want to place an offer. Would you be available to draft the offer on Saturday? Give them the heads up. That's number 2. Number 3 is, of course, call the listing agent, schedule the appointment. Don't just show up. If the buyers want to place an offer, talk to the buyers about, of course, draft the offer, get all of the highlights, tell the transaction coordinator to draft up all of those highlights. Step 4 is call the listing agent and say, hey, we're going to be placing an offer once all signatures are done, because buyers can change their mind. So don't tell a listing agent you're going to be submitting an offer if you don't have it in writing yet. But at this point, it's not yet in their inbox. So call the listing agent and say, hey, we loved your property. We're going to be placing an offer. I will give you a call as soon as it's in your inbox. Does that sound good? They're usually like, yeah, like, can you tell me a little bit more? And at that point, unless you have it in writing, say, we're still figuring out the terms and conditions right now. I will keep you posted as soon as I know final. I just want to let you know that an offer is on its way. Cool. So number 5 is you tell the TC to email it to the listing agent directly, CCing you. Tell the TC that it should be a standard every single time that you submit an offer to not just attach the offer as an attachment and say, here's our offer. That is what everyone else does because the bar is so damn low in this industry. Instead, to make it just a little bit better, which makes a huge difference, is tell the TC to draft the offer with bullet points, with the subject line saying, offer on 123 Main Street, dash Ali Garced EXP, smiley face. The body of the email is going to say, listing agent, as promised, here's our offer on 123 Main Street. And to make it easier for you, instead of you reading the entire document, here are the bullet points up front. So that way there is no confusion and I make it as easy for you to work with me and my buyers. We don't want any gotchas. So here are the bullet points: purchase price, close of escrow date, terms, conditions, earnest money, all the things that are in your purchase contract. Follow the instructions in the MLS, whether they need you to also email their TC or somebody else, etc. At that point, once it is emailed, step 5 or 6, whatever we're on now, give them a call back, the listing agent, or if they said text me instead, text them and let them know that the offer is in their inbox and that you expect a response if that's part of your contract. In 48 hours. So at that point, you have told the listing agent several times, hey, an offer is coming. You've made it simple as possible for the listing agent to give the seller the highlights instead of the listing agent or the seller having to dig in and find any gotchas. Oh, they want 3% closing costs? That's a lot. They didn't say that in the body of the email. You don't want any gotchas in real estate. That will come back to haunt you. That is how you make it as easy as possible for the listing agent to say, hey, seller, I think this is going to be an easy transaction based off of the communication that I'm already getting from the buyer's agent. That is what you want. I meet with agents a lot, like I said before, and a lot of people struggle with hiring out and delegating. So if you have any questions about how to hire, how to find somebody, how to work with them, 30, 60, 90-day plan, comment higher below. I'm more than happy to give you some resources. And if you want more of this and want to switch brokerages to be a part of our community and you are 100% committed, I can't have 99. I only have so much time in my day and I want to spend it on people that are 100% committed to this business, then apply with a link below. See you there.